Are we live yet? I think so. Right. Right. I want to explain something about this coil wrapping. This is important because when a magnet is entering a coil, let's just get a magnet. Right, so I'll move my coil winder out the way a minute. Oh, it's heavy. It's a copper wheel, it's big. When a magnet is entering a coil, you have reluctance, as in entering a field which is in an opposing state, and what's the opposite of that? I can't remember now. Anyway, you've got attraction anyway as well, right? So when you've got a bit of steel, it obviously pulls towards the steel. Oh, it'll be my birthday, by the way, on Tuesday. I'll be bloody 60 years old, believe it or not. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Ugh. Anyway, so what I want to explain here in this video, and it's the most important aspect of making a generator, is it's about these rings, right? When you've got toroidal rings, and you can get the magnetic field to rotate around the ring by bringing a magnet towards it. Well, there's a bunch of magnets around this toroid on here anyway, but when you have a ring and you put a magnetic field at one end of the ring, the field basically goes all the way around both ends, and it's equal all the way around. Now, on these coils for my design, we're using a similar principle with rings, but we're using a bit of steel battery tab in. You can use anything, any magnetic material. You can cut up a baking, a food tin, for example. You could use that material. It doesn't matter what it is. You can just get a little thin piece of tin. You don't want anything really heavy, because the heavier it is, the more drag you're going to introduce, because it's anything that's steel or iron or whatever introduces drag. All we're interested in doing is having that rotation effect, because what we're doing is the center of the coil. Let's just use one coil. Right, the center of the coil is, say, south, and the outside of the coil would be north, because there's the way the magnetic flux is spinning around. So what you have basically is that you have a flux path basically traveling. Oh, hang on, let me just draw it out, because it's probably easy if I just draw it. I mean, you've all seen it before. Right, so I don't know if you can see my paper. Oh yeah, you can. Right, well, there. Right, so we have these flux lines basically traveling around like this. I can't drop a toppy, so you've all seen it before, right? So you got a field, like two donuts, and the core is in the middle. So there's the core, and then you've got your coil, which is basically in here. Right, so your coil's in this section here, and you've got the field rotating around. Now what you want to do, It's a bit high up, isn't it? What you want to do to minimise the amount of drag is wrap a steel battery tabbing works great because it's solderable, which is even better, but you can use tin steel. So what you got to do is you got to cut your piece of steel. Now that I've got a core in there actually at the moment. Let's do the other one because you can do it. This is the exit coil. The reason I call it the exit coil is because this exit coil is wired it the opposite way around to the other two. They're all in series with each other. Every coil is in series, but this coil, the bottom, the middle might be basically, well, they're all receiving the same flux basically, but the middle of this core basically is opposite to the wiring's basically opposite. So this coil cancels out some of the field that these two coils are generating. So when these two coils are generating a positive voltage, sort of the plus cycle of a waveform, this coil here is generating a negative waveform. So it gives me more less reluctance. So basically it allows the magnet to pass more easily without drag. But there's the other aspect is the steel, and I'll explain that as well. Because we put our piece of steel through the middle like this, and then you wrap it around the outside of the opposite end of the coil. So you just basically fold it over and cut it off, solder it like that. So you have an entry point and an exit point. And what does that do? Well, I'll just take this one off because it's a bit sharp and it's not soldered on, but I'll just show you this other one because this is one I've already put in there. What does that do? Well, as the magnet is approaching, use this plastic. As the magnet is approaching the coil, normally what happens is you enter the field of the coil, and you have this drag point where it doesn't want to pass. It's like a barrier, like a force field. But having the steel around there, it basically creates a gateway, an easy pass gateway, because the outside and the inside are cancelled out at that point. It's like a null spot. So the magnet is able to enter more easily because of that piece, because the field is a nulled field at that point there, and it's not biased until it gets past that point, and then it starts to do the work. But because it's over this area anyway, then the drag is minimal because it's directly overhead. It's top dead center, so to speak. Top dead center is really what we want when we're generating power in a coil. We don't want to be on the verge of climbing the hill, or on the verge of, if you get what I'm saying. So that's what we've got to do with these coils. And the middle one is just a piece of ferrite core. It's just a toroidal flat cable. Hang on, I don't want to push that one out if I can help it. I'll just show another one. So it's just one of these things, flat cable screening with a hole in the middle. So it's like a flat toroid. You can more or less see that. So basically that's what's in the middle of there. That's because I want maximum coupling in the center, and I want less coupling on the outsides because that's where you get the drag the most. But I want a bit of steel there, and I want to make it easy for the magnet to enter that area over the coil, and I want it to leave more easily as well. So that's where we wrap a piece of steel around there. I mean, I could double this up. I could get two in there probably because of the width. I've got the width to put two in, but I'm just gonna do it with one for now. Well, one reason for that is I haven't got much of this stuff left, and I could go and cut up some tins, but it's, yeah, I'm like, I don't want to get gangrene if I cut myself on a tin, because they can be extremely sharp. But this stuff's not so bad because it's already been cut, and it's not that sharp really to handle. But it comes on a spool. You can buy it off eBay. I forgot what you call it now. It's called spot weld nickel plated steel. I think that's what you can search for, something like that. But it's for battery tabs and the battery connectors and things like that. But I like it because it's already in the right. It's already straight. It's you know, it's not jagged or anything. But I could certainly go on. I've got my tin snips, so I could go and cut some up myself if I want, but I just prefer to use what's solderable. Really, it's a lot easier. It's not as easy to solder onto a steel tin that's not been tinned. Usually it's got plastic coating on it or something, and it's hard. It's not very easy to solder to anyway. You need a higher temperature. But anyway, I just wanted to explain that. I'm not doing much at the moment apart from winding coils, and it's quite tedious actually. Even with my coil winder, which makes life very easy, I kind of, after a while, you just feel like you're going around in circles. You feel like it's stir crazy, you know. But yeah, so I just like to have a break every now and then. So anyway, let me just show the coils that I've got on there at the moment. There's some work I need to do on those. I need to do some more tin wrapping on the ends. I've got to pull them all out to do that. I've got coils wrapped with that tin there at the bottom, but I was going to do the top end as well, which I need to do. But block the camera then. So that's it really. I just wanted to explain that because it's quite important. Well, it is very important really. If you want to be able to have your rotor magnets enter the coil area and exit without too much reluctance, then you need to do something like that. It wasn't practical for me to do that in the past with the round coils. These aren't coils, but I had some round coils, and it's not easy to do with a round coil, especially if you've got a piece of ferrite in the middle of it because of the shape. But it would have helped. So now I'm sticking with the rectangular coils because they're a lot easier, more manageable, and more easy to customize and make improvements to. I took the old coils that I had in there. I'm still going to be using my concentric arrangements. At some point I'll be putting those on the back because they'll improve the output. But I've got to get this flush. I've got to get these things flushed down so that I can stick these on top. I can't really do it right at the minute, but the concentrics are going to go on top, and I might even have some other coils on the top of these as well, but underneath the concentrics. But we'll cross that bridge when I get to it. My main focus right now is to get these square coils all wound, and battery's finished charging. So I've more or less got half of them done. I've got another 4 there, and I just really need another, let's see, I think I need another 10. Yeah, I've done about 8 since I was the other day, because I was working out how many I needed another 18, and I've done 8, so that I think I need another 10 winding. So it's, yeah, we'll get there eventually. It's just, yeah, I just keep stopping, and which is a great thing about my coil winder. I can just stop whenever I feel like it, and you can see where I am at the moment on that one. If it focuses. So yeah, we'll just have a break every now and then, because I just don't feel like doing any more tonight really. I added a little piece of steel to the back of there, with a magnet on the back end to give me a bit more pressure on this arm to keep that pressing down so it didn't skip as bad. It's a little bit of a ad hoc type of contraption that I designed and on SketchUp, and it's working pretty well. It does a good job. I've just got a pretty heavy chunk of copper wire on there at the moment, and yeah, must be about, I think it's, well, it must be half a kilogram or something, I think. Yeah, I think it is half a kilogram. It's pretty heavy. Anyway, that's it for now.